Hey guys, it's Glock Osama 2, and today we're going to be talking about the amazing world of Gumball. And more specifically, we're going to be talking about the worst rated episode in that entire series. Now, I personally love that show. That show is extremely hilarious. It's probably top five in my list of shows that I've ever watched as a kid. And I know everyone pretty much loves that show. I don't really know anybody who hates it, I guess, unless like some moms do or some shit. But yeah, it's surprising that it has a episode. As correct. No, for starters, actually we should get into the fact that every episode is above 5 stars out of the 5 to 10 rating. I think majority of it was like 9 and 8. I had to scroll all the way down well, obviously if it's the worst episode, but on IMDb, basically we have this episode called "The Girlfriend" that is the number one ranked worst episode according to IMDb on the Amazing World of Gumball series. Now you may be wondering why a series with such notoriety, such fame for being incredible, amazing, and just overall a very funny and self-aware cartoon, how could it have such a bad episode that just basically no one liked? So I myself decided to go and watch the actual episode and see why did everyone hate this episode? What was wrong with it? And I'm here to explain to y'all basically the whole entire episode, why I think other people hated it, and my final thoughts will be at the very end. So make sure y'all stay for my final thoughts where I say, do I agree with the people who hate this episode or if I disagree with the people of this episode. But that's it for the intro. My name is Glocksama2. Glocksama loves you. And make sure y'all watch the entire video, hit like and subscribe, and let's get straight into the video. So basically, the episode consists of the same main characters that we usually have. We have Gumball, we have Darwin, and we have a little bit of Gumball and Darwin's dad, Richard. But the, I guess, secondary character that gets moved up to a main character status for an episode is this girl, Jimmy. So, Jimmy, if you don't know, is actually the daughter of the school gym teacher. Yeah, and she's in a couple of episodes. I'm not sure if she has that much of a prominent role in the series. Like I haven't watched the show in a pretty long time. I should probably get to watching the full thing. But basically, she's the main character, I guess, aside from Gumball and Darwin on this episode. So the show basically begins with Jimmy bullying the whole school, and I'm pretty sure that she's obviously like the prominent school bully. We have like the T-Rex and all that other stuff, but I'm sure schools have multiple bullies, and she's basically bullying the entire school. I mean, she eats the fucking banana dude. She beats people up, and then she eventually gets to that annoying balloon, which I hate that motherfucker, bro. What's his name? Alan, dude. I hate fucking Alan. I hate Alan and his stupid girlfriend. Anyways, enough about Alan. But he bullies Alan, takes his food, and then or no. He bullies Alan, then takes his girlfriend's food, and then Alan, being the pretentious little dickhead that he is, he gives his girlfriend his food and basically says that sharing is what makes him happy, and that maybe if you know or sharing with his boo thing is what makes him happy. And if maybe Jimmy had a boo thing to share things with, then maybe he wouldn't be as mad, or sorry, she wouldn't be as mad as she is, and she wouldn't be bullying everyone. So Jimmy sits there and thinks for a very, very long time and decides, you know what? I need a boyfriend. And as soon as she decides that, the person who is sitting right next to her on the bus, the unfortunate little I guess victim that'll be victimized the entire episode, Darwin, our poor Darwin, is sitting next to Jimmy, and that is who she decides to be her, I was about to say girlfriend, her boyfriend. So for obvious reasons, Jimmy is the bully. Gumball, the voice of reason, basically tells Darwin, you need to break off the relationship. You can't be in a relationship with this girl. Why did you say yes? And Darwin, I guess, avoiding conflict because he didn't want to get his punch faced in, he agreed to dating her. And so Gumball kind of comes up with ways of how he should break up with her or talk to her. And basically that's how the whole episode goes. I mean, after this is basically when we get to watch Darwin and Jimmy's relationship unfold. And let's just say it's not a pretty relationship that you want to be in. So, Jimmy basically threatens Darwin and says, if you break up with me, I'm going to kill you. Then she goes on a tangent, basically doing or ruining everything and everyone around Darwin at the time. She beats up his father. She breaks a gift that she technically got for herself because she gave a gift to Darwin for him to give to her, and then she broke it even though she was the one that got the gift. And I'm pretty sure it was like a perfume or something, some shit like that. And then she makes Gumball be a bench for them to just like sit there in silence. She's basically just a weird girl. She doesn't really I don't think she understands what being in a relationship is, and she kind of abuses basically everyone around Darwin. But Darwin refuses to talk to her and break up with her, which kind of leads to like Gumball attempting to tell him to do it because their father got beat up. Uh, and then, as a form of an apology for beating up Darwin's father, she thinks that it's fun to mutilate people. Okay, I'm gonna say it. It's not dead bodies, but she tied up like the staff of the school, spelling sorry, and sorry wasn't even spelled right. Using the principal, the teacher. Honestly, those motherfuckers deserve it. But you gotta be a fucked up crazy person to do some shit like that. And not only is she abusive, but she also gets very, very jealous over Darwin. And at first, it's her being jealous against that ice cream weird shipper girl that shipped Darwin. I hated that episode. Anyways, not the episode that we're talking about, but I'm pretty sure that episode's probably actually. Never mind. I forget that the Gumball fan base is weird too. Like that was like a epitome of the Gumball. Anyways, back on topic. Um, Basically, she gets so jealous about Gumball and Darwin just being together all the time because those are the main characters of the show, and we all know they're always together. Um, she gets jealous that she says that she's going to teach Darwin how it feels, and basically date Gumball as well as Darwin, and they become some sort of weird throuple or something. I don't know. And obviously, Gumball is opposed to this. Um, so I'm guessing that Jimmy gets kind of like Jimmy basically starts saying like, "Why don't you want me?" And she chases him around the whole school, and Gumball is just running away, trying to not die to Jimmy or get beat up, I guess. And Jimmy eventually catches up to him in a corner. Once she catches up to Gumball, she does that kind of think thing that she does, and she basically comes to the realization that you can't force someone to love you, and it's something that you earn from being like, I guess, like not a person like how she is. And she kind of realizes that all the forcible, I guess, like aggressive acts that she did towards Darwin, trying to get him to, I guess, like love her back, and Gumball was wrong. And you know that's cool and all, I guess. She comes to the self-realization after basically beating up the whole town. Um, but that's basically the whole recap of the show or the episode. And let's get straight into what people thought about the episode and why it was rated so low. All right, now we're on to second phase, and the lights are on because I had to turn them on. I couldn't see. Anyways, so now I kind of want to get into basically what people thought about the show, and we're gonna be using IMDb's viewer users reviews, basically see why people didn't really like this show. So we got Kristen Snow 17 saying, "While there was some funny jokes in this episode, is the weakest of the Amazing World of Gumball. If you don't get the episode message, it's basically if you're in an abusive relationship, stay in and say nothing. And honestly, I know that the writers are smarter enough. Okay, this guy can't spell. But basically he's saying that it's the episode, I guess the message is to just stay quiet during an abusive relationship, which in the next part I'll tell y'all basically what I think about the episode and if I agree with this or not. But I can definitely see where this guy is coming from, and we kind of look through um these reviews. It's basically the same thing, but we do have someone who said something else, and they gave it actually a 7 out of 10, which is higher than the rating of the show. Good John Doe said, "This isn't telling you to stay silent in an abusive relationship. Words like that are indeed spoken, but the episode itself presents it in a more ironic kind of way. Heck, the climax here is shot like a goddamn horror movie. Could the message have been handled somewhat better? Definitely, I agree on that front. But taking that issue, again, not a real flaw, since again, it isn't presenting Darwin's actions as inherently a good thing. Aside, the episode's still funny, creative, well animated, and well directed as the show's become known for being. But that's basically the only guy that said that. Everybody else was on the first person side, basically saying the same thing, that there's not a good message between the lines. Worst Gumball episode ever. Cruel, unfunny, and downright terrible. Worst Gumball episode ever. This is not only the worst Gumball episode, it is also one of the worst cartoon episodes, which is crazy. It is so terrible that the Family Guy's Brian's a bad father seems more horrible to watch. I'm not very familiar with that episode, but let me know if y'all want me to review that episode. Hell, you know what? SpongeBob one course meal seems more tolerable than this. That's not good. Now, please don't hate me for this, but I think Gumball as a whole is trash. So this guy doesn't actually like Gumball as an entire show, but has a problem with this episode in particular. Sorry, but this is more than trash. It's rotten. Here are the problems. Its characters are not likable, it spreads adult party humor, and lastly, its message. Where do I begin with that? I will say trying to get a girlfriend is a nice thing to learn about, but the advice, oh my word, the advice. So I'm reading this, and I think it's about time that we get into the third part of this. And as y'all can see, it's just a lot of hate that this episode received. But let's get on to my final thoughts on if I think this episode was as bad as people say it was. Now, getting on to my final thoughts, I kind of have mixed feelings about the episode. Now, I do understand where some people are coming from, where it says that, the episode promotes staying silent during a relationship, and let me get that straight, an abusive relationship. And I can understand where those people are coming from, because watching the episode, I guess you can tell that it is told, or Darwin is basically trying to avoid or stray away from Jimmy's abusive tendencies and trying to ignore it and letting her figure it out for herself. But yeah, I do understand that. I understand that, and I understand why. I've understand where they're coming from like four different times. But okay, because y'all are waiting on my but, I also can get behind the whole fact that it's kind of overhated. I mean, it still has the same type of humor that the Amazing World of Gumball is known for having, and I feel like the people that are saying that is the worst episode aren't really familiar with the series. Like, that's just the way that the series kind of jokes about everything. Like, everything in this series gets clowned on. And um I understood what that other person was saying with the adult humor, but I feel like every good cartoon is able to be enjoyable from like any type of demographic of age. More on the episode, though, the episode was it was watchable, and I genuinely, I'm not gonna say I enjoyed it, but I mean, I was sitting there and I enjoyed it somewhat. The like the other person said, the ending is shot like a horror movie, and that was really enjoyable. And watching Jimmy be a bully to everyone and kind of abuse everyone was a little like, eh, they kind of missed the mark on this. But I feel like worst episode on Gumball, it's still a decent watchable episode, and I feel like they were hitting a little too much on the episode. um it still has the same humor, jokes. It was definitely, I'd say personally, I give it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. But it might just be because I'm blinded by nostalgia and I love the show. But I do think that they kind of missed the mark when it comes to, I guess, the humor in it, because abusive relationships are very serious, and it's a very serious like topic to get into. And I feel like if they were going to get into that topic, if they were going to be humorous about it like the show is usually intending, I feel like they could have, I don't know, touched it a little bit better, if you know what I'm saying, like touch the topic a little bit better, and not let Darwin kind of insinuate the fact that it is okay for you to stay silent during an abusive relationship and let someone, I guess, uh figure out the issue themselves. Now, Jimmy was, I guess, the abusive part of their relationship, and Darwin basically enabled his behavior. And I feel like if they made it more, I guess, obvious, especially to children, that the fact that Darwin was enabling that type of behavior from his partner, then this definitely could have been a way better episode. But the fact that they didn't make that very obvious, the fact that Darwin was enabling this type of behavior, and make it known that it's wrong to do that, and that he is wrong, not as wrong, but he is wrong for letting Jimmy continue with this abusive behavior, then I feel like, yeah, the show probably would have been more well received, and definitely would have taught children, not only that abuse is wrong, but the fact that Darwin let it slide just because that's his girlfriend, and he was I guess letting her figure it out on her own, was also bad. But yeah, those are my final thoughts about the episode. And yeah, I feel like it was overly hated, and I feel like when you come looking into the perspective that I gave it, then it's definitely a lot more forgiving. But that's all for me, guys. I love you guys. Glako Sama loves you. Let me know if y'all want me to react to more worst rated episodes, or if y'all want me to react to the highest rated episode, the Amazing World of Gumball. Make sure y'all watch all of my other videos, and I love y'all. See y'all later. Bye bye.